I've spent more than 7 years with Dabur India.
See, the challenge that we face in FMCG is the warehousing is not very modern.
What kind of a pressure as a supply chain professional you have to ensure the costing?
If the cost comes down, then only the growth will be able to sustain itself.
What is the global aspirations of the Dabur or expansion plan?
We have the right to win. We are, as an organization, more than 100 years old. We want to make sure that the product which we launch, is complete trusted by us, and hence we can ensure that the customer also trusts the product. An FMCG company cannot put all the costs on top of the consumer's head and demand that money from them. They will not be paying.
So what kind of a competition is being faced with these upcoming spiritual gurus brands? So we are now starting with the second part of our discussion of FMCG supply chain. So you have already seen the first part we have released. Now today's discussion is connected with the second part. जैसा मैंने आपको लास्ट पुराने वीडियोस में बोला कि लॉजिस्टिक शक्ति इज ऑन द मिशन ऑफ ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग इंडियन लॉजिस्टिक्स इंडस्ट्रीज लैंडस्केप थ्रू कलेक्टिव स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ आवर इंडस्ट्रीज एंड आवर फंक्शनल्स लीडर इटसेल्फ. पूरी इंडस्ट्री को और सप्लाई चेन फंक्शन को ट्रांसफॉर्म करना ये लॉजिस्टिक शक्ति का मिशन है. और इसी मिशन के तहत अभी हमारा और एक बड़ा प्रोग्राम ग्लोबल एडिशन लॉन्च हो रहा है इन दुबई in the month of April 2025, right? So please help me welcome again. And I have mentioned the same thing, same format is being continued. The logistics industry perspective given by Ramesh ji and supply chain professional perspective from FMCG customer side is given from Samrat Sahab. Now let's move forward to the next level of a discussion on the distribution. So Samrat Sahab and Ramesh ji, the distribution is further getting a complex. Right. Earlier, historically, the largely परचून की दुकान होती थी. डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को माल पहुंचाया C&F ने और परचून की दुकान पे जाके कंज्यूमर खरीद के लेके आ रहा. This became a general trade, if I'm correctly saying so. And then that got evolved into a modern trade. बिग बाज़ार और स्मार्ट बाज़ार जैसे डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइज रिटेलर आ गए, तो जो मॉल्स में एयर कंडीशनल इन्वायरमेंट में शॉपिंग चालू हो गया. एंड दैट गॉट फर्दर इवॉल्व टू द अमेजॉन एंड फ्लिपकार्ट काइंड ऑफ अ जाइंट हु बिकम द ई टेलर एंड यू ऑर्डर and third day, second day services, your products are getting delivered. Then further it has got evolved to category specific e-commerce like Big Basket kind of and Swiggy or maybe Instamart or those people. And then further getting evolved into the quick commerce, which is initiated from Zepto and now followed by Blinkit heavily. And 10 minutes delivery is become a norms of the new, and even Amazon kind of a giants are facing to change their strategy or they're facing the threat. So how it is impacting the supply chain function and how it is getting pressured the entire supply chain of brands like Dabur or different other brands to manage the distribution, right? You have to ensure the distribution must go for all these channels, through these channels, and of course distribution to the rural areas जहाँ पे transportation का भी challenge है, and of course complexities of traffics and everything.
So I think it is evolution of its best kind. I think what I have seen over the last 25 years. So supply chain used to be only logistics function at one point of time. Now it is, an end-to-end function. Yeah. So that transition we have seen in the last 25 years. Now we are seeing we see the transition or evolution of the last, basically the last leg of distribution or placement of the product, which is, from general trade to modern trade to e-commerce to quick commerce. So now I can proudly say that my supply chain, because we have our own commerce also, right? Dabur.com is also there.
So yeah, brands are taking their order directly as well.
Their own supply chains are ensuring. So my supply chain today is extending up to the door of my consumer, right? So the door opens, the consumer opens the door and says, please place the product here inside, right? So my supply chain is extending right up to there. It is definitely challenging. So there are challenges of general trade which are there. which essentially meant, and we had more than 6,000 distributors which are there across the country, and India, the varied geographies which are there in different states. So, and we cannot deploy one single model for distribution across the country, because there is no single mode of transportation through which you can actually deliver to your customer, right? So the distributors today, for example, will some of the distributors will be in a warehousing zone, which will be a model kind of a warehouse in which they will be storing their product. So companies like who are into e-commerce or quick commerce or modern trade chains, they are basically having their own warehouses in warehousing zones. Yes. Distributors, for example, are not having that kind of a warehousing today. There could be a distributor in Khari Bauli in Delhi where no vehicle will be able to deploy in a good part of the day, and your vehicles will not be able to reach. A vehicle will not be able to reach every gully where the distributors are located.
अभी भी हाथ गाड़ी चलता है
So अभी भी that happens. So we take the material in a bigger vehicle, and then there will be transshipment points from where they will be shipped into smaller vehicles. And the absolute last mile could be through a hath gadi or something like that. So very, very complex distribution in a way. With coming in of these modern channels which are there, the distribution has become more easy and more efficient, and we are getting more visibility also into our distribution, because one thing, because they are into zones where warehousing is good, the infra is good, so we are able to deliver through our own vehicles till the distributor point, which is these warehouses. So in a way it has eased the distribution piece, but definitely there are other complexities which come with this, which are related to planning or the demand fluctuation itself. Those are aspects which we are not touching upon in this question, but overall I think these are the development of these channels will ensure that the distribution piece at least eases out. As far as quick commerce is concerned, same applies to that also. As far as our own commerce is concerned, there I think the whole piece of the customer experiential aspect of delivery, that also becomes very, very important, and it becomes the responsibility of supply chain. How well the product gets delivered to the end consumer, that also is in the supply chain's control. So that is an additional new angle and expectation which has come from the supply chain, and I think we are trying to evolve to ensure that experience also improves, and the customer, because they say that the first impression of the product is through the experience of delivery itself. So if that experience is good, the customer will keep coming back to your product. So the supply chains are also trying to evolve so that they are able to give a very, very good experience to the consumer at the time of delivery of the product also.
I would like to say in this that Samratji, you company should really give credit to the logistic industry that you are really crushing the balls, and we are not squeaking, we are still bending. Uh, so, and I know very interestingly, what has happened is initially it started with consolidation. In cities were having godowns, then we moved out. We went to bigger warehouse. We went to regional distribution centers, and then we thought that we should avoid city this thing. Then slowly when quickcom came, now we are slowly coming into city, and now dark stores are coming which are right in the city and small. So again we are reinventing, and we come back to the same thing with slightly more modernization and systems and this thing in process. But it has become, it's a wheel, it's reinvented again the wheel, and we have come back to city again. And distribution has greatly helped because people need it in 10 minutes. So you need to have a dark store in the city, and probably there were one city warehouses go down. Now there are multiple small dark stores which acts as a go down. So it's a completely reinventing of wheel. And as I said, supply chain is not squeaking; it is still bending.
So I think overall, if we see,
And the prices have not come. The prices have not gone up. Prices are coming down day by day. So that's why I said that it's squeezing the ball, but they're not squeaking, because the prices have not really come down, come up. They're still daily. Even when you start with Amazon, you start with Amazon or any of these companies, they had given some rate. The rates have continuously been coming down, whether it is manpower, whether it is any other delivery boys, anything. The rates have continuously been coming down, and logistic industry has been doing phenomenally well by maintaining that level and going down. So full credit, I think, goes to this industry. That
In fact, all the way the diversified approach of different channel, like from general trade to modern trade, and modern trade to e-commerce, e-commerce to a quick commerce or category specific commerce. So the entire this is the retailing, and this entire retailing is depending upon the logistics itself. So different kind of a logistics need has getting evolved, and different kind of a industry within the industry is getting created, and immense opportunities and employment is also getting created through this. And of course, there will be a pressure of demand and supply, pricing and efficiency will always remain there.
So I think I have a take on this. I think the costs which probably some of these companies were paying earlier were exorbitantly high, and the last mile delivery cost was making it impossible for these chains to basically keep growing, because they were making losses.
Costs were heavy because the penetration was not there.
Yeah, so
costs were not heavy. They were not paying.
As the penetration increases,
it is not that we were charging, logistic industry was charging more. The penetration was not there. As soon as the penetration increases, the cost automatically comes down.
So exactly. Yeah. So that's the point. As the economies of scale improve,
the
cost is bound to come down. And if the cost comes down, then only the growth will be able to sustain itself. Because some of these e-commerce companies, they were making losses just because the last mile delivery costs were very, very high. So if they are able to reduce their warehousing and last mile delivery costs, the model of delivery will become economical for them.
Do you think this e-commerce and e-commerce have actually improved the reach penetration, and that has become just reason for reducing of cost, or it is only a cost kind of this thing which has happened?
So I think both are there. First of all, I think the economies of scale have definitely helped.
So consumption has increased.
So consumption is increasing. It is a known fact that consumption is increasing, because of which the economies...
No, I'm talking about, sir, there are two different. One is fashion. Fashion, the penetration has happened, the consumption has increased. Do you think that even FMCG industry consumption increased because of penetration, and they were not reaching that level earlier, or...
So if the question is whether with e-commerce the consumption has increased or not, I think you can look at this question in 2 or 3 dimensions.
Yeah, one is city and one is in township, internal market.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So there are multiple dimensions to this. So first of all, there are products which are impulse buy, right? So products of impulse buy, definitely with e-commerce and quick commerce, the consumption has definitely increased. That is for sure. It could be food category, it could be some other categories where
absolute need was there, not there, but it was triggered because of the...
You're watching a cricket match, India is winning, you suddenly want to have an ice cream, you want to have more chips, you want to have more of cold drinks. So you order and you enjoy that, right? So that impulse buying definitely has increased, and that's one of the reasons why quick commerce is thriving also. And hence the consumption has increased. Second is, in certain geographies, the product was not able to reach itself, right? So that
from their demand itself was not there, or demand was not fulfilled.
Yeah. So that definitely has also helped in consumption. Yeah. Third is, more options in terms of products is available now, because every product was not able to reach every geography. Now with e-commerce and quick commerce, specifically with e-commerce, that reach has increased. Hence the consumption has also increased. So because of these 3-4 reasons, definitely the consumption has increased.
So from here, we completed the entire cycle of, up to the distribution all the way from the demand forecasting. Let's talk about little bit more on the reverse logistics side. So the expiry is into it, and then the, disposing the beyond expiry material, and if at all applicable, how the reverse cycle is happening in our FMCG industry, and how do you manage this?
So there are 4 channels which are there, basically: the general trade or the traditional trade, modern trade, e-commerce and the emerging one, which is the quick commerce, right? So as far as the last three channels are concerned, because we deliver our products to their warehouses, if there is anything which has to be recalled, it becomes easier for us to recall from these customers, because the visibility of product is there, and the exact quantity and the issue is also known, and it is easier to pick up and bring back the material. So this is one aspect, which could be say 35-40% of our overall sales. Then comes general trade, which is approximately 65% of the total business, and could be different in different geographies.
So of course, Rameshji, these different channels has increases a lot of opportunities for the logistic service provider or different kind of other ancillary service providers, and of course putting pressure and different kind of solutions being offered by supply chain professionals of the brands. Now, from a reverse logistics perspective, we find still there is a lot of lacking of a visible service provider, or within the service provider also reverse logistics is not that much focused area. There is a technological integration is also lacking, and of course this is not being identified as a one of the focused category within the supply chain. So what is your take, and how do you take this perspective?
See, as far as reverse logistics concerned, Samrat ji may correct me, but the issue is not very big in FMCG industry, because they have time frame and then it cannot go back. It has to be destroyed. Am I right, Samrat ji? So,
Yeah.
that challenge is not so high in FMCG industry. Normally, earlier there was a trend that they want to have a control on even the reverse which is being destroyed. So they used to bring back to a common warehouse. But now trend is that they destroy it there itself and they close it. They are given empowered, people are empowered on the end supply chain, and they destroy it. And so reverse logic, QCOM and all these have probably brought in a little bit of reverse logistic, but then otherwise it is still not much of a problem. In reverse logistics is much more there in auto industries, fashion, because it's seasonal, so it has to be stored for this thing. So, and even garment, furnitures, these industries and white good industries, there are a lot of huge reverse logistics there, and it is now getting very specialized, and technology has developed. All those transparencies have come, and it is well evolved reverse logistics. But reverse logistics has become very, very important now. So it is much evolved now, and all systems, everything is in place. FMCG per se has not much of a concern on reverse logistics. If I'm right.
So I'll tell you here. Basically, what is happening is that I don't think for a long time now we have allowed for destruction of the goods at the customer's place. We have taken control of. We have taken control of that. We actually bring back the goods in case we have not been able to sell it. Then the destruction has to be done in a very, very
it is stored at a
ecologically.
distributed place, and from there it is destroyed. It does not come back to warehouse in many cases.
It comes back to our warehouses.
Okay.
We bring back the material to our warehouse.
Because compliance is also connected with this, because of the expiry date, and then it has to be destroyed probably proper, into a compliance structure, or maybe a video kind of a
where to dispose of all those things.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have taken control of that compliance piece also, and we make sure that it is basically destroyed in an ecologically safe way, and in foods definitely it is very, very important to bring back the goods, because we do not want to take a chance where an expired goods gets consumed by any any of the consumers. So we bring back the goods into our warehouses, and then we have identified modes for destruction.
If I'm right, in FMCG, the way I have handled FMCG, see this, those goods like even which are like attas and all that, they are disposed of to the players who supply to cows and this thing. So that kind of lot of these things have evolved. So many things have not stopped coming back, and the salesperson, executive is empowered, the executive or officer is empowered. He goes and so instead of accumulating it in one place and creating hazard there in warehouse, which becomes a nuisance value actually. Now at a lower level only it is disposed of and just moved in many places, in many companies. I don't know about, but
we bring back our goods into our warehouses, and then we make sure that we destroy them in a compliant way, completely, 100%.
So let's move a little bit on the competition side of it, right? So Ayurveda has been very buzzword in last 1 or 2 decades in India, and multiple, the homegrown different personalities of spiritual gurus also has promoted their own brands. And Dabur, or certain brands, has been a very, very historically, probably the number one in the country as far as Ayurveda is concerned. So what kind of a competition is being faced by your organization with these upcoming spiritual gurus brands?
Who have also got very good turnovers now.
Of course, yeah.
So I think we in Dabur look at it a bit differently. They are of course competition for us, but I think they are also in a way uh, our partners in growing that market. So that is also very, very
Oh, yeah,
important. So
correct. So
the
competition also growing and the category is also increasing.
absolutely. So
Yes.
they have not. So overall, our turnovers are increasing, and we are also grabbing market share. These companies are definitely helping us to grow the market, and they are investing along with us to grow that market. So it has, over the last 5-6 years, we have definitely seen that growth coming in the products which are more natural and have basically Ayurvedic ingredients, our own India's ancient historical knowledge about the drugs, more natural. So I think those are things which are there are a lot of activities which these companies are also doing, which are helping us also.
But does this also have this? There is this credibility factor in this. Ayurveda is still not recognized, legally that it's a solution, whereas other companies have been claiming whatever they've been claiming, and there is a stamp of some doctor or somebody. Whereas Ayurveda, when they try to do that, they get into problems. So maybe the research is not there. Or
I think the Indian ancient knowledge of Ayurveda is something which probably, because of historical reasons, the colonial rule which was there, it was lost in between for years and years. Definitely, the competition which the companies you were referring to, plus the Indian government is also investing behind this old science of India. And we of course have Ministry of Ayush, which is there, which is Ministry of Ayush, which is actually helping the companies to basically grow this sector more and make sure that there is compliance also
but
around
are you
this.
also investing in research and submitting papers on research,
Oh,
which is the main contention now?
absolutely. So our company, it's more than 100 years old company, and we started as a our roots are in Ayurveda only, and historically also the company has been investing in Ayurvedic products and doing more research. We actually do research not only in our products, but we also help the farmers to grow the seeds. We provide them seeds. We help them grow those plants from where we are getting our raw materials and input materials.
Backward supply chain.
Backward supply chain. So it's a part of our CSR also, that we help those farmers to grow those input material for us.
So in a way, you are saying those homegrown spiritual gurus organization, they are themselves as a brand, are helping to develop the entire ecosystem.
Absolutely,
Which is in
they
turn
are.
helping country, helping farmers.
Absolutely, we are definitely doing that. And I think 5-6 years before today, if you ask me, there was of course a period when we were at the crossroads, right? So what happens when you are at a crossroad? You slightly slow down, then you decide which direction you have to take, and then you put your foot on the pedal, and then you increase you accelerate. So that's the way we are doing. So we have definitely post this, we have actually we are putting more money behind the science in different category of products. For example, in oral care, we are putting a lot of money to research more products. And similarly, in other areas, other product categories also, we are definitely trying to expand, make sure that we are able to bring this old science of ours to the consumers.
So in fact, certain product, like even I personally use Tiruphala and Chavanpras, those are known for this. And with this new ecosystem, it has become a household names.
See, that's what I'm saying. When I said that whether they can become multinational, there are two things. One is our old studies and our practices. Second thing is research papers and actual proof and certification. Ayurveda still has to probably go a step ahead on that, which is not happening. I think everybody is trying to do it, but recently somebody got into problem because of that only. He claimed something, but there was no research paper to prove that there is actual document and statistics which is available. So there probably we need more credibility.
So I think
That
very,
claim.
very rightly pointed out, Rameshji, by you. I think there is where Dabur will be. We have the right to win because we are as an organization more than 100 years old, and we have been investing behind all this. So there are companies who have come up recently. I don't want to talk too much about them, but definitely we must all think what kind of systems they may have been able to develop when they have been growing very fast in the last 5 years itself, right? So, of course, an organization like Dabur, which is more than 100 years old, has got the systems and the framework behind all the products. And the claims which we make are completely backed by the science which we understand. And we have data to back our claims also. And we may take slightly longer to even launch our products because we want to make sure that the product which we launch is completely uh, trusted by us, and hence we can ensure that the customer also trusts the product.
With your these words, the 100 years old organization as a Dabur, so as a outside perspective, we understand, and from the management perspective, we understand, is very intensely professionally driven organization. So can you just little put light in the working culture or maybe the management style of the organizations?
So, what exactly do you mean by management style? What exactly you want to
So
understand?
this
there?
is a Dabur we know as a homegrown or Indian brand who has been, one of the household name and family run business to got into, a professionally driven organization and competing immensely with the giants like, multinational giants. So from that perspective, I was asking for.
Yeah. So I think it used to be a family-driven business because it was set up by a family, and then they grew the business also. But I think over the last,
We can proudly tell the name.
yeah, the Burmans, absolutely. So the family as such, they are not involved in day-to-day business operations. The way we operate is that they are completely they do provide guidance, and the way we work is that we have a quarterly review mechanism with them where they understand how the business is performing and they give their guidance there, whatever suggestions are there. There is a group of people who listens into that and makes sure that we basically look at all those suggestions and incorporate them. But those are the guidelines which are given on a quarterly basis. Beyond that, on a day-to-day basis, the involvement is not there. It is completely professionally run by a CEO who's basically grown through the ranks of the organization, and then similarly in other functions also people are completely professionals. There is no family member who was directly involved in the running of the business on a day-to-day basis. That they have completely entrusted, and I think that has been also one of the reasons why the organization has been able to maintain a balance, a balance between the guidance from the promoters and the day-to-day running by the professionals. Yeah.
So it's a mix, completely hands off, is still hands on.
No, not hands-on.
Acha.
It's not hands-on at all.
As an owner, their strategic involvement has to be there, which is
Yeah.
absolutely understandable. But running is quite professional, which is very creditable.
Yeah.
Got it. So let's talk about little bit. What is the global aspirations of the Dabur or the kind of organization, particularly Dabur? We can talk about. We would like to hear from you. What is the global aspirations or expansion plan?
Actually, it is also in regard to other companies also. Can Indian companies become global giants?
Can Indian companies become global giants? Answer is definitely yes. I think there are examples already there where the Indian
FMCG.
companies. Yeah. So I'll come to FMCGs also. Let us look at the history of those organizations first of all. So some of the Indian companies who are now multinationals have what they have done is that first they have grown India business very strongly. In their category, they became the leaders, and then they made sure that some of the companies worldwide which were not being run efficiently. They took over and turned around those companies. That's the model which they have, basically worked on and evolved. And I think same thing can happen in FMCG also. And as I was saying, we have the right to win Dabur as an Ayurveda company. If touch wood, if we are able to grow that business, and we are able to also make sure that we are able to educate the global consumer on the benefits of Ayurveda, we will definitely be in a position to basically bring the product on the table of international consumers also. This is one aspect of being able to reach in different geographies. Apart from that, definitely the organization has also carefully selected product categories and companies where we have invested or brought over those companies. We have taken over those companies, whether it was in Middle East or whether it is in the Americas or in the Africas. So we have got a foothold in those geographies. Today, we can say more than 20% of our turnover, more than 25% of the turnover is coming out of those geographies. International turnover is already there. Yeah. That's what makes me become the global supply chain head.
Absolutely, that is what we started from. Global supply chain has to be global.
Yeah. So we have a presence there, and that market is also growing very, very well for us, and we are investing behind that. Great. And I think we want to continue on that journey. But I think for that we have to become stronger in the Indian market also, so that we are able to get more money and muscle power and product categories to basically expand in those geographies. So I think the work has to happen on both fronts, but we definitely have a large ambition to become a considerable player in the global market also.
So thank you very much, Samrat Saab, for your time. We wish you all very, very great luck and our best wishes for your global aspiration with your career as well. For our global career, recently you've been taken over as a global supply chain head. And thank you, Ramesh Saab. A lot of opportunities has been discussed for a 3PL service provider, and immense opportunities are of course there. I'll extend on behalf of Logistics Shakti your invitation for Supply Chain Management Conference. We are having SCM Middle East Conclave, which is largely focused into the entire supply chain. A gamut of discussion is going to be happening in the month of April. Initially, I have told, and I extend the invitation on behalf of whole logistics fraternity to please attend that event, which is SCM Middle East Conclave and the award happening in the month of April. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you all for our audience.
So I think I would like to thank first of all Logistics Shakti for inviting me, and Amit ji, thank you very much for inviting me. It was a pleasure. And Ramesh ji, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to learn from you. A lot of 360-degree experience which you have. You have provided very good insights, which was a learning for me as well, and you brought richness to the discussion as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramesh sir.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you very much for inviting me, and it was pleasure to have this discussion with Samrat ji. It was again, I was very happy to be feeling part of the supply chain FMCG industry, and I'm sure this will be a good learning for both sides, seekers as well as service seekers as well as service provider. And I'm sure we will see most of us who will be seeing this to come to Dubai to attend the SCM Logistic Conclave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you both of you. So again, lastly, I am very thankful to entire my audiences and the viewers who are giving an immense response and continuously subscribing our channel, which is helping them to reach out the latest information and the latest video quickly. Thank you very much for that response to you.